I'm a huge fan of the roguelike and roguelite genres. There's something just so satisfying about these games as a whole, and I find that they scratch an itch that few other types of games can. However, when I first started playing Hades, I felt that there was something, let's say, different. While so much of this feeling can boil down to the rich narrative system or the general pacing of the game or the absolutely fantastic art direction, those are not the areas I want to concentrate on in this video. Rather, it was an experience that I kept having. You see, I noticed something strange. Hades was the first game I was actually able to step away from easily and feeling good about, even after a botched run or two. My day was feeling richer, more accessible in some regards after a few of these runs. Normally, games suck me in. They leave me time blind and bounded until I get up, brain sloshy and feeling in a fog, and learning that several hours of daylight have mysteriously passed. But Hades had the exact opposite effect on my brain, and I needed to know why. So I analyzed the game, breaking it down to its core parts and structure. I did some mindful check ins with myself mid run, feeling what I was actually experiencing, taking notes of what I think was causing these effects. What I found was both ingenious and clearly very intentional from the game developers over at Supergiant. Right? Great job, guys. They seem to really want to prioritize theming, natural on and off ramps, and breadcrumbing. I say the following not as someone with a background in game design, so please offer some forgiveness where I might get a few things wrong. Theming is, according to Wikipedia, quote, the use of an overarching theme to create a holistic and integrated spatial organization of a consumer venue. Not very helpful. To put it another way, I think a way that's more effective for us, an appropriate theme ties the actions we do in a game back to the stories, with emphasis on design elements, game mechanics, and general story composition. Hades' theme is based around Zagreus, you controlling Zagreus, trying to escape the underworld and to seek his freedom away from his father's house. Everything you do, or anything you interact with, always ties back to this central idea. For someone with ADHD, I deeply struggle to connect back to the main plot of my day to day life. But as I considered the designers of this game constantly calling back and connecting every action to your character's primary motivation, it helped me to offer myself little reminders throughout my day to do the same, unknowingly, mind you. These little reminders came about more naturally whenever I did a playthrough of Hades. These natural on off ramps. They are another appeal to Hades that really connected for me. On top of the brevity that each run tended to offer, segmenting locations with a couple of breathing rooms. One to transition out of the old environment and one to establish the new environment meant that I had multiple chances to check in with myself to see if I really wanted to continue this run or if I wanted to stop for the time being. The second chance exit here, the one that sets up the new environment without any enemies, was monumental in actually helping me to check in with myself while playing. It was the game design equivalent of when a buddy asks you how you're doing and you say, I'm fine. And he goes, are you sure? Because it's cool if you aren't. The design of this on ramp, off ramp helped me to use my mindfulness techniques to become able to more deeply and maybe honestly check in with myself. Do I need to get to something else right now? Finally, there was the breadcrumbing. This was the hardest one for me to parse at first, but became so glaringly obvious as I got more and more runs under my belt. I first noticed it when I started doing heated runs where condition modifiers upped the stakes of the run and, light spoilers here, gave the bosses slightly more elaborate attack patterns or changed up their attack patterns in a way that I could actually notice. As I found myself stuck on some of these early heat bosses, I found myself slowly noticing some things. Hey, isn't that Bone Hydra enemy in Aspendell doing a weaker, slower version of Lernie's primary attack? The way that Brightsword is slinging his sword really makes me think of the bull in his axe attack. Many of the enemies you fight are like a piecemeal or a sampler version of an attack that the boss will perform. The game is subtly training you on how to respond to the boss and is helping to set your expectations. As someone with ADHD, I absolutely need this in order to function effectively, and found that Hades made it so much easier to always be practicing on the boss simply by playing the game. ADHD makes life feel so fragmented for so many of us at times. So the designers doing something like having the bad guys being micro expressions of the boss really helped me feel more confident in playing the game, but also outside of the game as I gave myself more space to practice day to day tasks in a smaller, more chunked out kind of way. Yes, it takes more time, but it makes things feel so much better when I actually have to do them. While I'm just now starting on Hades 2, I'm excited for the journey and I'm already re experiencing some of the things that connected me with Hades 1. I'm hopeful that one day I can write something similar about Hades 2 once it's done with early access. But overall, I want to end this with a simple sentiment. Supergiant didn't make Hades so that I could come to terms with ADHD in a more meaningful way. Damn it, it really helped me, and I'm deeply thankful for the power of thoughtful game design. Thank you for taking my call. I'll talk to you next time.